And there's two questions in the chat box, and I'm going to answer one before I answer the other. And the question is there a government office I can report elder abuse by family members of the person? There absolutely is. You would contact your local county Department of Social Services, and they will be able to assist you. In fact, there is an actual duty to report, like I mentioned. Any person that is aware of this has the duty to report. They will then take and follow up, do an investigative report, and if they deem that it's necessary, there can be criminal and or civil liability attached. And if you want to know more about that, the North Carolina Division of Aging and Adult Services, which is listed here on this slide, has more about adult protective services, which is where it's housed. And then another question, Anne, that maybe we can both answer is, let me go straight up. Wondering why Equifax is still, go ahead.
Pardon me?
Here's another question. Equifax is still allowed to maintain private records, but why are they when there was such a massive breach of our trust? Do you want to?
I don't really have the answer to that question. I don't know what the answer is, frankly. Misty?
Neither do I, but know this. The more we move to digital, the more it's not a matter of are we going to be hacked or are we going to get our information put out there? It's when, right? So just be aware, you know about the Equifax. You probably don't know about the 5, 6, 7 different other companies who have released your information. And of course, know this, United States, they do have an interest in Equifax reporting these things because of the mortgages. So just be aware, as we do more digital things, it's more likely that information will be released.
But that's an excellent question, because what it does is it tells us that a lot of bad actors have a lot of our personal information, so they can craft their pitches to us very specifically. So all the more to be on guard. And Wes, you have an excellent question. Tell us more about how to identify someone's legitimacy, and that is to take the time to check them out. And we provided you some resources, some QR codes, and handouts to help you do just that. Tom, back to you.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. There is one more question, and that is Jane Cranford asked a question. I just learned my power of attorney. 1 second, it just shifted. My power of attorney completed just a few years ago does not meet the new law. How often does the power of attorney need to be updated, and how will I know when I need to update this document?
And do you want to answer or do you want me to? I assume it's about the financial.
Misty, the answer is you need to update at yearly is our recommendation. But remember that slide that Misty showed about all the things that can affect your power of attorney, including changes in law, that kind of thing. Misty?
Yeah. So one thing I will mention too is remember this, your power of attorney was done at the time of that law. So typically speaking, not always, but typically speaking, if you took and I assume this is for the financial power of attorney, for the financial power of attorney, the laws changed in 2018. So if you got your financial power of attorney in 2016, the laws that were in 2016 would be applicable. So yes, your power of attorney may not be applicable to the new set of laws, which are 2018 and older. But that does not invalidate your financial power of attorney because it's applicable as of the date that you signed the document. And again, I'm assuming it's for the financial power of attorney since that is the only one that has changed. The healthcare power of attorney laws have not changed recently.
And Tom, if you would address again the piece about the presentation being broken down into bits and shared on the website. We have a viewer, Beth, thank you for your question and your interest in the QR codes.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, by this Friday, we're going to take the presentation and edit it on down into the different sections. So in case there was a question that you had or there's something that you wanted to review, that you believe was in the middle of the presentation, you wouldn't have to watch the whole presentation just to get to it. So we will have that edited and posted on our website by this coming Friday. And all the documents, Misty said she'll send the documents to me, and we'll get those posted also. So in case there was something on there that you wanted to look at without having to review the presentation, well, then you can go straight to the documents. And in the documents, the QR codes will be posted, obviously. Also, I just posted on there is a link to, in case you did miss it, there's the link that'll take you to all the documents that were referred to by Ann and Misty during this presentation. And those will take you to the exact same website location where we're going to post everything for this presentation. Folks, we still have a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions. And let's see, I understand Inga Robinson asked, I understand that Bitcoin is a bad investment. But what about Cash App stock investment?
Thank you for that question, Inga. It gives us a chance to point out that we're not saying Bitcoin is a bad investment per se. That's one of those, if you will, a gross generalization. What it is it's risky, right? And so you got to take that in context with what your total picture is, you know, and consider, can you tolerate something that's really volatile? Are you going to need to draw out some of your assets? And if so, you know, and the value has plummeted at that time, what does that mean for you? So we're not in a position to say something is good or bad. What we just wanted you to think about is the need to check the fine print and consider your own individual circumstances and not get caught up in all the buzz, which is everywhere right now. Thank you for that question.
Folks, I can tell you, I've had a lot of people come to me from various legitimate websites. LinkedIn is an extremely legitimate business website. And I get approached at least once a week by someone who will eventually soft sell me. And what I mean by that is they'll start talking about business and items like that about the organization. And then eventually it's, have you ever considered Bitcoin? And that's what the hook is. They'll bait me. They'll get me on their side through business or some other means. And then they'll start trying to get me to buy Bitcoin. Personally, I don't touch it. There's no gross national product behind it to give it any value. So I stay completely away from it. That's my own personal view on it. Let's see. Excuse me. Beth Evans just posted a question. I had such a situation with my mom. A bank wouldn't take her power of attorney, even though it said I could do business as if I were her. They wanted a new power of attorney, but mom was in advanced Alzheimer, I believe. It was a nightmare. I'm not quite sure if it's a question or a situation. Is there something you would recommend to Beth on that? Or do you need more information?
So I'll follow up with that one and just say that all banks have a legal department. And so what they do is they send that document to their legal department. The banker themselves, they're not making that decision. The legal department behind the bank is making that decision. One thing that could have been done, I'm not sure if the document was recorded, but imagine this. If you're a banker and you have an adult child saying, this is the document that I'm presenting, and my mother has advanced stage Alzheimer's. And then there's another adult child, but this banker has never seen either adult child. You know, again, recording that document with the Register of Deeds would maybe have caused a little bit more certainty on the part of the banker, and there may not have been, you know, such a hesitancy. Again, I'm not sure of the situation, but recording does assist, not always, but it is beneficial.
You know, Beth, one thing further to consider and why, you know, it's so important that everybody do these advanced planning documents like a durable financial power of attorneys, because you never know what's going to happen, right? Whether you're 18, 21, 40, or 75, you know, any of us can be involved in an accident and others have to act for us. And here's the thing, if we will simply do these documents as a matter of course and introduce the documents to our financial providers, if they're going to give you any pushback when it's you presenting your own document at that time and introducing, this is the person who's going to act for me if anything goes crosswise, you know, there's still time to do something about it. Remember that slide? Seize this opportunity. Seize the opportunity to avoid harm, avoid problems. Thank you for your questions.
Folks,
And I just want to piggyback.
Go, Misty.
I just want to piggyback off of that very quickly. Most people, again, being in private practice, doing this for about a decade, a lot of people think about, you know, estate planning, powers of attorney, wills in their 50s and 60s. But here I am, a millennial, and I have 3 small kids, meaning that if something happened to me, right, there are 3 potential people who depend on me. So I know that, you know, we're talking to retired government employees, but think about your children as well. If something happened to them and you're a grandparent, or maybe they still have an outstanding mortgage, there is a lot more potential for harm just because of their ages, having, you know, an active mortgage, potentially having small kids. So they should be planning as well. They should be seizing this opportunity just like you guys should.
Okay, Anne, Misty, thank you very much for the presentation. Everyone who participated and zoomed in, I appreciate it.